Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Salette Sports Network, where the Salette Lions are going to be facing off against the Olympia Spartans. I am Michael McCall, and to my right is Kevin Quigley, and they're coming with us to the, we're going to bring you the starting lineup for the Lions. We got Augustin Blood at number 3, William Fitzpatrick at number 10, Eamon Martin at number 11, Ryan Todd at number 20, and Charles Prather at number 22. Kevin, are you wanting to see anything specifically from players after our close victory over Crisman last Friday?
I definitely would like to see more shots from the perimeter. Of course, with this year's lineup, we've definitely moved away from that a little bit. But at the same time, if we can open that up to the arc, and if we can get people like Eamon and William Fitzpatrick some shots, then they're going to do really well to open up the offense. So for Olympia, their starters, number 4, Zach Keedy, number 14, Gannon Will, number 21, Owen Alford, number 33, Elijah Smith, and number 12, Easton Nowaski.
And the Lions, again, they came off with a close victory against Crisman last Friday. They started off pretty well, struggled a little bit in the third quarter, but they didn't struggle too much. They stood firm. They played offense and defense strong. And it was nice to see they were able to pull off that victory. A couple free throws made a big game. Eamon Martin had a very good game, so did Gus Blood. And I'm hoping to see some good things from William Fitzpatrick today, also from Eamon Martin. And the Lions, they need to score quickly, I believe, in the beginning of this game. They need to put some points on the board first, hopefully, especially since they won the tip-off. Eamon Martin is going to give the ball to William Fitzpatrick. Holds on to it, gives it to Eamon Martin. Eamon grabs that out of the air, making space. Gets it to Ryland on the left corner. Goes off the foot of number 21 of Olympia, and that's going to be a kick ball. So it's going to stay with the Lions.
So right off the tip, I'm really looking for the Lions to score and get a lead early so that they don't kind of go into that slog that they're probably going to hit coming into the third quarter or late in the game, where it's really just, fighting for points. If they can get out and jump to a big lead, which they don't do very often, at least this season, if they can jump out to a big lead, that's going to take some work away from them later in the game.
But Lions are going to inbound the ball. Eamon's going to drive to the hoop. Nice there. His layup's not going to go in. Ball's thrown around. Gus Blood tries to come up with it. Olympia's going to come up with it. Ryland's going to steal it. Back in the possession of the Lions. Ryland now with it, fakes the shot, keeps it, gives it to Fitzpatrick, Charles out at the perimeter with it, gives it back to Fitzpatrick. Ball tipped. Olympia comes up with it.
Number 4, Zach Keedy, brings it down the court. Will has it, looks for a shot, doesn't take it, and then gets it down in the post to Elijah Smith, who puts it up. It should be an easy layup, but somehow rattles out.
The Lions are going to get the ball, going past the 10-second line. Fitzpatrick gets it in the corner to Ryland. Into the post. Charles Prather had the layup, doesn't take it. Out to Gus Blood. Over to Eamon Martin. Tightly picked up. The ball's tipped from him. 2-on-1. Olympia goes down the other way. Another easy layup. That's no good. Olympia's going to rebound it. Nice trap there by Gus and Eamon. The ball's going to sneak out to number 4. Drives in, spin move, pulls up a layup. And that's going to fall in for 2.
Zach Keedy with the layup there. He's showing himself to be definitely very aggressive, and he's looking for shots even this early in the game, so the Lions going to have to watch him as we progress.
William Fitzpatrick barely gets the pass off after a good jump from the Olympia players. Holds on to it. Ryland's going to take the jumper, and that's no good. Ball going the other way.
And then that last play when those 2 defenders got sucked in on Fitzpatrick, number 14, Will takes the shot, no good. But as I was saying, as those defenders get sucked in on Fitzpatrick, that creates a mismatch because now there's 2 players committed to 1, and somewhere on the court there's someone who should be wide open. And on that play, Gus was over on the left corner. He was matched up, and then Ryland was just standing behind him. Ryland was out of the play, and if he had just moved to the other side of the court, he would have been wide open. And he saw that and did that, but it was way too late by that point. and he wasn't open anymore. So the Lions need to realize that if someone double teams them, there's someone open. They need to get clear as quickly as possible.
Eamon's going to try to put up a layup, and that's no good. It's going to be a little bit too short, not enough power. The Lions, they're letting Olympia take a lot of shots. Luckily, they haven't gone in. The score 2-0. Spartans up right now. The Lions got to jump out at the three-point line to make sure that none of these shots start falling. Olympia's ball gets inbounded. Ball swinging around the perimeter.
Keedy with it again at the top. Sees Smith down low, and Smith puts it in for 2. So Keedy, one of the 2 Spartan players with points. And right there, he was reversing the ball and looked up and saw that the Lions had left Elijah Smith open down low and got to him easily.
Eamon Martin could have maybe taken a shot there, but decided to hand it off to Gus Blood, who fumbled it a little bit, recovered it, got it back out. Fitzpatrick at the top of the key, gets it over to Eamon Martin. Into Gus Blood. Gus Blood trying to circle around, gets it to Rylan Ta. Rylan into Charles Prather. He's double guarded. He's going to get it back out to Rylan Ta. Rylan Ta dribbles in, holds on to it. Nice pass to Eamon Martin. Tips off the fingers of Eamon Martin. And that's going to go out of bounds. Ball going the other way. That was a nice pass there by Rylan Ta. Eamon wasn't really prepared for it, but he was on the run. And if he was prepared for it, could have maybe done a reverse layup or put it in with his left hand for 2 points. But nothing's going to fall there for the Lions. Score 4-0, 3:51 left in the third quarter. Eamon deflects it. The ball's going to go out of bounds, and it's going to stay with the Spartans.
The Lions on offense struggling to create space because anytime that they're open, they're not all the way open. They're never wide open. They're only open a little bit, and it has to take a really nice pass to get to them. Fitzpatrick comes away with the rebound after that missed shot.
And the Spartans are taking a lot of shots, shots that aren't very good, so the Lions need to really take advantage of that and keep letting them take those shots. But they need to start putting points on the board in this possession with only 3:22 left in the first quarter. Fitzpatrick gets to Eamon. Thinks about the three, covered quickly by Keedy. Decides to not take it. Takes it to the middle, gives it to Ryland on the other side of the court. Back to Fitzpatrick at the top of the key. Fitzpatrick swings it over to Ryan. Ryan gets it into Charles Prather. Charles takes a dribble towards the middle, swings around, and he puts it in for 2. A nice layup there by Charles Prather. Fancy footwork. Rolls off the fingers for 2 points. Keedy swings it all the way to the corner. 14 for Olympia. Takes the 3, and that one's going to fall. Bringing their score 7 to the Lions 2. That ball's going to be picked off by 14, Willie.
Eamon looks for the steal, no good. Gannon Will in the corner again for 3. That one's short. Elijah Smith brings it in, puts it up, no good, gets his own rebound, and then gets fouled on that layup attempt. He's going to head to the line now.
That's going to be the first foul of the first quarter in the JV game that the JV played. It was a tough loss, but the Spartans had 10 fouls in the first half. So the Lions were in the double bonus, but this is the first foul of the varsity game, and the first free throw is no good.
Smith's second free throw up and no good again. However, Chase Litweiler gets the ball for Olympia. He just got subbed into the game. And it's going to be deflected off of Eamon out of bounds and going to stay with Olympia.
And Eamon Martin and William Fitzpatrick, which I think that last one was knocked off by William, but they're great defenders at just blocking jumping the passing lane and getting their fingers on the ball, and that's great to see from them because it just kind of breaks up the other opponent's offense. And we've already been seeing that a little bit this game. That pass is going to be picked off. And then Eamon's going to come up with it. Going the other way. Has Charles at the high post. Charles spins around, finds Eamon. Quick pass over to William Fitzpatrick, and William Fitzpatrick isn't too big of a shooter. He doesn't take a lot of shots, which I know personally I would like to see a little bit more of him shooting. I don't know if the coaches want him to do that, but I mean hasn't taken too many shots. in his career, but the ball is going to be turned over from Ryland. It's going to step out of the hands of Gus after a pass from Ryland. Keedy gets it to the corner, swung to the wing, to the other wing. Keedy's going to take a three. That's going to be no good. Smith gets his hands on it, and he's going to shove Charles Prather. That's going to be the Spartans' first foul. Lions ball. Eamon Martin under the hoop. The ref kind of motions him to move away from the basket because last game Eamon inbounded a ball and it hit the backboard. Eamon's pass is tipped. Will going the other way, and he's going to put it in for an easy two. Fitzpatrick's going to take a pass to 10-second line. The Lions need to put points up on the board. Sloppy pass from William Fitzpatrick. He had Chuck open in the corner, didn't give it to him. Willie throws it in bounds. Smith is going to grab onto that and throw that way out of bounds. Past the Lions bench. It's going to be the Lions ball.
Eamon inbounds it to Fitz. He's going to have to try and maintain possession because the Lions haven't had a good offensive possession going back for the past minute or so. They've turned it over quickly if they've even gotten down to the other side of the court.
The Lions trying to find something on offense. Ryland's going to spin around, take a jumper that was a little bit forced. And there's going to be a foul on the court. It's going to be on Gus Blood, his first, team second. And now coming into the game for the Lions is Mr. Blaze Laronia. He's coming in for Ryland Ta. Now we got three big men, and that's good because we're kind of switching up our offense, you know, trying to confuse the Spartans' defense a little bit. Keedy way outside the perimeter, gets it over to Willie, tipped out by William Fitzpatrick. Willie recovers it, and Eamon Martin jumping the passing lane, comes out with it. However, the buzzer for the first quarter rings. That's the end of it. The score 9-2, Spartans are up. And I don't know, the Lions struggling a little bit to put points on the board. Their defense is, has a few holes, but I think as a whole it's kind of standing a little bit. It's standing firm. At least they're on their feet.
And if you look at the difference between La Salette's offense and the Spartans' offense, La Salette is really big on setting screens, and because of that, a lot of the time they're having to commit two players on offense to one defender, and as a result, the screens don't really work and no one really ever gets open. The Spartans aren't setting a single screen on offense. They're just reversing the ball really quickly and passing through, and so they'll reverse it, and the guy that started it will run down the other baseline, and they keep on getting open threes. They're wide open because the La Salette defense just gets sucked to the side. Olympia's defense can just kind of hang out in the middle, and because no one ever goes to the corner for La Salette, they don't have to spread out at all, and La Salette never gets an open shot.
Mm-hmm. The Lions' offense, I feel like, is just like a second behind. I don't know if that's just a timing issue or it's maybe just part of their offense, but I feel like they're just a second behind, and the Olympia defense is always just right there when they get the ball. But the Spartans are going to start off the second quarter with the ball. Ball being passed around the perimeter.
Keaton Piper up top. He just came into the game for Olympia. Ball moves down to the baseline and then out to the wide open Willie, who makes his second three of the game.
And that's a big three for the Spartans to come off in the second quarter and knock down a three like that. The Lions really got to pay attention now to where Willie is on the court. The ball's going to be tipped out of the hands of Eamon Martin by Piper.
Score 12-2 now. Spartans up. And there goes Willie cutting across the baseline again to the other side of the court. And if the Lions don't figure that out and start picking up, he's just going to keep getting open on either side of the court in the corner.
William Fitzpatrick matched in height with Willie. Fitzpatrick's going to lose it, barely going to come up with it. Finds Charles at the post. It's going to be tipped off, and the Spartans are going to come up with it.
Keaton Pfeiffer takes the shot, no good. Charles comes with the rebound. And Coach Spacey is going to call a timeout. That possession was really bad for the Lions. Fitzpatrick got double teamed, lost it, and ended up on the ground with 3 Olympia players surrounding him and miraculously came away with it. But then he passed it to Charles, and the other 2 Spartans were there, so that was like 2 Salette players playing against 5 Spartans.
And this game is just frustrating right now because against Chrisman, the Lions, their offense is moving so quickly. They're moving very smoothly, just a lot of fluid. And this game, they're just so choppy. It's kind of going back to the rhythm of where they were at the St. Joe Ogden tournament. And they got out of it at the Chrisman game, and it was a good game for them. They were very smooth, getting the ball around, getting shots up. But this, they're just finding it so hard to get shots up. And is that, I can't remember, are the Spartans in a zone defense right now?
I mean, I can't even really tell what they're doing because they're just all in the middle, and they haven't been able to even run their defense very much because their backcourt, their guards are just picking it off before it really even gets in. Because a lot of the time what they're doing is Willie's on Fitzpatrick, and then if he's able to beat him, someone else just comes and picks him up into a double team, and Fitzpatrick has to get so focused on not turning it over to the guy covering him, he can't look up to see who to pass to. As Fitzpatrick drives down the court, now beats 2 men. Eamon with it now at the top, gets it to Fitzpatrick on the wing. Charles in the high post with it.
Fitzpatrick's trying to find something, gets to Eamon in the corner. Back up to Fitzpatrick at the white line on the top of the perimeter. Eamon Martin's going to drive, gives it back to Fitzpatrick at the top. The Lions trying to find something with their offense. In the high post, Charles Prather trying to make space for himself. And he's going to be called for the 5-second violation. And that's going to be another turnover for the Lions. No points on that possession.
Score still 12-2. 6 minutes left in the first half.
And Matthew Mero looks like he's getting ready to come into the game for the Lions, and I think that's going to be good because it's just going to give some of the other players just time to rest, look at the court, and realize that they're way better than they're playing, and they just need to calm down, slow down, realize that, and just start playing to their actual potential that they can.
Eamon's going to get called for the travel there as he tried to reach out and hold his foot down but didn't. And like you said, Romero gets subbed in for Fitzpatrick. Ref's going to call a timeout to let Eamon tie his shoe.
Eamon's going to be subbed out. Ryland's coming in. And Ryland was there in the first quarter. He's shown up in a lot of games. Hopefully he can bring something right now. Put a jumper in, play some hard defense. But Matthews guarding Pfeiffer at the top. It's into the high post in the corner. Back to Pfeiffer. Over to the corner. Quick 3 for Olympia. Shot no good. Offensive rebound for the Olympia Spartans. The second shot's no good.
Lions defense holding strong. They allow a couple offensive rebounds, but end up preventing any shots from being scored. And then Blaise Laronia draws the foul.
And that was good to see from Blaise Laronia because he was able to actually hold on to the ball there. And it wasn't stripped away from him, which is good because, I mean, last season there would have been a lot of times where the ball was just ripped out of Blaise Laronia's hands, and now Blaise just aggressively holding on to it, keeping the rebound, using his elbows and his height to keep hold of that ball. And he drew the foul there. Nice play by Blaise. Matthew gets to the other end of the court. Nice pass there from Matthew Romero to Charles Prather. Looks like Matthew's shown up tonight.
Yeah,
ready
Matthew
to play.
Making his presence felt right after he's come into the game because on defense he was guarding very well and then creates a great pass to Charles, and then Charles comes away with the steal right there.
And here's this momentum that the Lions need to pick up on. And Eamon Martin's on the bench right now. Hopefully he's realizing this, like, we got this game.
And then Charles going to draw the foul as he goes into layup. He's going to head to the free throw line.
And I think this situation right now is exactly what the Lions need. They got some couple players out there giving Eamon and Fitzpatrick a little breathing time to focus their thoughts and get focused up on the bench. And when they come back into this game, they hopefully are just going to, Eamon's shot's going to turn on, Fitzpatrick's going to get his head in the game and be able to get some steals and lead this offense. Charles Prather's first free throw shot's no good. Takes his second attempt, sinks that one. Lions down by 7 now. Plays Ronya tight defense at the high perimeter. Pfeiffer with it on the left wing. Gets open, barely gets a pass into the post. That was a nice pass there. Slips past all 3 defenders for the Lions. And Olympia's gonna put that in for 2. Matthew gets the ball into Augustin Blood. Back to Matthew Romero. Gets past the 10-second line, loses control of his dribble, but he'll regain it. And Olympia's going to jump on the ball, and it's going to be a jump ball.
Lasselette's going to get the ball. Ryland's going to inbound it.
Matthew gets wide open. He'll grab the ball. He's got to run something here. Gets it to Ryland. Ryland thinks about the shot. Doesn't take it. Over to Matthew. Back to Blaze. Matthew, top of the key, over to Ryan and Taw. Into high post, Charles Prather. Charles Prather swings around. The ball tipped, going out of bounds. It's going to stay with the Lions. And Keedy's coming back into the game for Olympia. The Lions having to play against a zone coverage, or excuse me, a full court press this entire game. Struggling to get past that a little bit. But they've successfully mostly gone past it this game. But Matthew gets it into Charles Prather. Ball almost tipped out. Matthew's going to drive a nice pass again to Gus Blood. That ball's going to be tipped. Charles Prather comes up with it, takes the jumper. That's no good. Rebound by Keedy. Spartans going the other way. Ball's thrown up. No good. Lions going the other way.
And Matthew Romero going to be called for a double dribble. Ref says that he pulled the ball in against his hip and held it up. So possession's going to go back to the Spartans. Number 24, Chase Litweiler, who completely missed his alley-oop dunk earlier, inbounds it.
Pfeiffer gets it to Willie at the wing. Willie's back in the game for the Spartans. And there's a timeout called. Lions trying to figure out something to do. I think their defense is strengthened a little bit. They definitely got the momentum back there. Put a couple points on the board for offense. They were taking more shots, which is good. The Lions, they just need to get more comfortable out there on the court. I don't know how else to put it, because I know that, I mean, we've seen it in past games that they're able to play, especially to this team. But they just need to find some fluidity and just to play basketball like they played last game. Eamon and Fitz keeping their seats on the bench. Spartans ball. Keedy takes past 10-second line. Hands it off. Swings it over to Pfeiffer. To Willie in the corner. All the way to the wing. Back to Pfeiffer. Gets it to Willie. They want that 3 in the corner, but the Lions are not allowing it.
Litweiler goes up and attempts another dunk and misses it. Olympia in that full court press again. Lasselette into their press break, easily gets it across.
And smart play there by Gus. He had the ball. He just took 3 dribbles, got it past the 10-second line. Charles Prather gets to Blaze Laronia. Back to Matthew Romero. Matthew Romero to Gus Blood in the high post. Gets to Rynan. Rynan over to Matthew. Rynan now with it in the corner. Back to Matthew. Matthew gives it to Blaze. Blaze was open. Took too long. Back to in the hands of Rynan. Gus Blood loses control of the ball. Willie comes up with it, quickly going past the other end of the court. Pfeiffer gets the pass, and it puts it in for 2.
Matthew having trouble there because he was the only one back, and he was looking at the ball, but then Pfeiffer cut behind him, and he wasn't able to guard him, but he didn't really have help to take on that double team.
I don't know why Ryland and Blaze separated there. You got to protect the ball first. Like, even though that they could have passed the ball out, you got to stop the ball there. Matthew was too far behind Pfeiffer to stop him, and Blaze and Ryland kind of stepped out from each other, and it just opened a hole right up for Pfeiffer. And he made his free throw. He made his layup, and he got fouled, so he takes his free throw shot, and he sinks it. Eamon Martin came back into the game for Ryland. Eamon Martin gets past the 10-second line, gives it to Blaze. Blaze had Charles, didn't give it to him. Eamon now with it. Gets it out to Blaze Larunya. Over to Matthew. Back to Eamon. High post, Charles Prather trying to find something. Ball just being passed around. No holes are being opened. Matthew Romero gives it to Eamon Martin. The Lions offense just stalling right here. They're finding nothing, passing the ball around. Matthew gets it to Eamon at the wing. Into the post to Gus Blood. He loses control of it, dives on it. Trying to keep control of the ball. Rolls it out to Eamon Martin. Miraculously comes out with it. Drives baseline. He's going to put a layup up. It's going to be fouled in the air, but that ball is just going to barely roll out. No points.
The coach for Olympia is unhappy that when Gus was lying on the ground trying to look for someone to pass to, that he didn't get called for a travel, but refs say that he didn't move at all.
Eamon Martin misses his first free throw. That's a peculiar sight coming from Eamon Martin, but he's going to get a second opportunity. Takes a second shot. That's no good. Pfeiffer comes up with the rebound. Passes it up to Willie. Back to Pfeiffer. Pfeiffer's going to come up quickly, take the 3. That one's going to be no good. Blaze Larunya going to grab the rebound out of the air. Gives it to Eamon Martin. Eamon goes the other way, gives it to Matthew Romero. Matthew drives left, pulls back out. Drives past the perimeter, pulls back out, gives it to Eamon Martin. Eamon Martin trying to set something up. Gets a double screen. Ball almost poked out from under him. That double screen didn't really do anything. The Lions are going to have to try to find something else. Blaze is going to take a 3. Looks like it was tipped.
And Olympia throws up a shot to try and make it as the seconds wind down, but no good. So as we begin halftime, Lions down 19-5. They're really going to have to figure something out during halftime because their offense is completely not working out there right now. We'll take a break for halftime. Please stay with us for the second half. But we will see you in about 10 minutes.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Salette Sports Network. I'm Michael McCall. Next to me is Kevin Quigley. For this first half of the basketball game, the Lions have struggled to put some points on the board. They got 5. The Olympia Spartans, they have 19. The Lions out there on the court, they just need to be a little more solid out there. And Fitzpatrick and Eamon Martin coming back onto the court, so hopefully we can get a little bit of that. Blaze Larunya is going to take a seat. But they're going to come in the second half of this game with the ball, so hopefully they can take it and do something with it. It's going to be Spartans' ball, but hopefully they can come up with a steal or something after Fitzpatrick and Eamon have gotten a little bit of time to rest, clear their thoughts.
And Romero also comes in. Oh, Charles Prather with the steal, taking it down the court quickly. But yeah, Romero has stayed in the game. Ryland had started the game, but Romero took his place because he had a stellar end to the first half. Gus needs to dribble now to avoid the 5-second violation. He does.
And he had Matthew Romero. It was a nice cut by Matthew, but the ball wasn't given to him. Gus was just at an awkward angle to pass the ball off. Ball's going to be swung to Eamon Martin on the wing. Eamon can handle the ball well, so there's no fear of him turning the ball over there after being double guarded, but the ball's going to be tipped. Eamon Martin's going to come up with it, rip it out of the hands. Number 21. Lions are going to recover it. Matthews going to reset the offense. The Lions holding the ball for almost 40 seconds here now, taking their time. Eamon's going to drive baseline, meet up against Smith, get it out to Gus Blood. He's going to take the shot. That one's going to bounce around, but it's going to fall. Lions taking the ball the other way. Keedy with it. The shot's no good. Keedy's going to come up with the rebound. Drive right between the Lions' defense and put it in for 2. Lions down by 14. The ball's going to be tipped by Alford into Keedy. Fitzpatrick's going to come to steal the ball, but he's going to shove. That's going to be the Lions' first of the half.
Now number 2, Keaton Pfeiffer, is going to come into the game for Zach Keedy.
That's William Fitzpatrick's first foul. Pfeiffer gets it to Millie. Millie open for the 3. He's made 2 in the first quarter. Somehow Pfeiffer's going to come up with the ball after Charles had rebounded it. The ball swung to the other end of the court to Willie. Pfeiffer realizes that Fitzpatrick's coming off his feet every time, so he pass fakes. Smith's going to go in for 2. No good. Fitzpatrick's going to come out with the ball. He's got to get past Willie. Gets easily past him, past the 10-second line. Fitzpatrick picks up his dribble. Matthew comes to get the ball. Holding it on the left wing. Swings it to William Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick way outside the perimeter. Gets it into Charles Prather just inside the perimeter. Back out to William Fitzpatrick. Matthew fakes the pass, fakes the shot, gives it to Gus Blood, goes up for 2, and he gets fouled. His younger brother in the JV game visited the free throw line quite a few times. Wasn't able to connect with a lot of his shots, but was able to sink one. And his older brother now is going to be visiting the free throw line, taking his first shot with a little bit of distraction from the fans, but he's going to miss that one. Well, Salette Crazies aren't able to join us this game for the today for this game, so it's very quiet in this gym. And after a little bit more distraction from the fans, Gus Blood is going to sink his second free throw. Pfeiffer spins off of Matthew, gets it over to the corner to Alford. He's going to take a deep 3. He's taken quite a few of those, missed all of them, so that's good for the Lions. Lions are going to recover it, and Eamon Martin's going to take it past the 10-second line. There's going to be a foul on Pfeiffer. Lions going to keep the ball. Team second, his first. Eamon inbounding it. Gets to Charles Prather. Nice pass there. And Charles is going to draw the foul. Nice play there. Ball's going to stay out of bounds for the Lions.
Lions up 21-8. Down 21-8 right now.
Lions got to really pick up their pace right now. They're just out there kind of moving around. They're moving very slowly, and they're going to lose the ball again, but
smart play there by Gus Blood. When he dove on the ball, he knew that he had it secured and he could get a jump ball called, but by not rolling over, he didn't get called for the travel.
That's the second time he's done that this game. Spartans coach was a little unhappy that he wasn't called for the travel, but his feet were planted, so he wasn't called for anything. Eamon needs to inbound it, gets it into William Fitzpatrick. He's going to drive to the middle, gets a screen that doesn't really work for Matthew, but he's going to work off of it, and he's going to hold the ball, gives it to Eamon. Almost tipped off. Eamon's going to spin off his defender, gives it to Matthew. Matthew's open, takes the 3. That one's going to be barely off. Charles Prather comes up with the rebound, tipped out by Pfeiffer. Ball's going to roll out of bounds, and the Lions are going to keep it. And they've had the ball for about 2 minutes in this possession.
Eamon to inbound now from the side. Fitzpatrick's open, and he has it now. Tries to get Willie to run into the screen set by Gus, but doesn't go close enough, so Willie rolls around it. Gus Blood at the elbow now, pump fakes, doesn't shoot. Nice pass through the defense to Fitzpatrick. Liam in the corner now. Romero open up top, but doesn't take a shot. He was out from the arc a little bit. Fitzpatrick in the same position. He passed it to Romero in turn.
And the Lions, they need to take a shot. They can't just keep holding the ball. The time's running. The clock is continuing to run, and they don't really have the advantage of time because they are down. But at least more than 10 right now. Gus Blood gets it in the post. Pump fakes. Going to throw up a shot. It's going to be blocked. Matthew's going to narrowly save it. Nice save there. Gets it out to William Fitzpatrick, and the Lions offense is going to have to repeat again. Eamon's going to have to force a shot, and that one's no good. Gus Blood comes up with the rebound on the floor again. There's going to be a jump ball, and it's going to finally be the Spartans' ball on offense. And that was just such a long possession by the Lions, and they just weren't able to put up anything. It was just so slow. They were passing the ball around. Just nothing was able to happen for the Lions.
And we were talking about it at halftime. I think the problem with the offense that the Lions are running is that it doesn't create enough space for the shooters that we have on this team. If we had shooters who could catch and shoot, if they had a really quick catch and release, I think that this offense would work a lot better because players get open all the time, but it's not wide open. It's open by a couple feet. And if you're not able to take a quick shot and if you're not money from that distance, then it's not worth anything. And also, the offense never reaches to the corners because the offense that they're playing, it only reaches from the top of the key to the wings and then down in the paint. So anytime that they reverse the ball, they're only reversing the ball around about 50% of the arc, the middle 50. And the defense just gets to hang out in the middle of the court, and the ball never goes to the corners. So the defense never gets sucked out, and as long as they just kind of sit tight in the middle, Salette never gets a shot.
And also, like, after the Lions miss one of their shots or they make a mistake, it's always like they're hesitant to do it again. Like, Matthew missed his for 3, and that's okay. It was a good shot. I mean, even NBA players, they're not shooting 50%, so you're not going to make every one of your shots. But he missed it, and then he had another opportunity to take it, and he didn't take it. And, I mean, he should have shot that. He was open. The Lions needed points. Matthew is a good three-point shooter. He just wasn't able to come up with that one shot. But the Lions just seem to hesitate after they make a mistake.
And right there, Olympia just whips the ball around the court using their whole side of the court, and they got a completely open shot. Pfeiffer didn't make it. He was moving too quickly, but just by passing the ball around really quickly, they got an open shot.
And there, Matt, it was 3-on-2. Excuse me. 3-on-2. It was 2 post players against 1 shorter defender, and Matthew just wasn't able to realize that quick enough. It was a sloppy pass, and the ball went out of bounds, and there was a turnover. It looks like the Lions are speeding up a little bit. Matthew jumping on his defender. Keaty's going to take a 3. Without even jumping, barely. It's going to go in. 24-8. Charles Prather with it. Has to get past the 10-second line. Eamon Martin's going to take it. Gets past the 10-second line. Runs into Pfeiffer. Matthew Romero now with it. The ball's tipped. That was a bad pass. Willie's going to tip it, and it's going to stay with the Lions.
Willie, after that possession, right after it tipped out of bounds, he pointed in his team's direction, trying to call the way that it was the referee was going to be pointing, but the referee pointed in the opposite direction, gave the ball to the Lions. But Lions turn it over. They don't see Litweiler coming out of nowhere to steal that pass, and then Willie misses his first three-pointer, gets the ball back to him, misses another one, and now Eamon with the rebound, taking it down the court, and he's going to get fouled dribbling through a couple Spartans.
I don't know what the Lions need to do right now. They're just so slow. And I understand their offense is getting the ball to move, but they're not moving it quick enough. They're just moving so slowly, letting the defense just set up, and they're moving too slow to match the quickness of the Olympia Spartans right now. Gus Blood barely gets it. He picks up his dribble, gives it back to Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick over to Matthew Romero. Gives it to Charles Prather. Charles Prather gives it to Matthew Romero. Matthew stuck under the hoop, triple guarded, gets it to Gus Blood. Gus Blood, nice layup in for 2. Points really needed by the Lions, 10-24.
Gus Blood at 5 points now. he and Charles each at 5. They've done all the scoring for La Salette right now, who's down 26-10.
The Lions need to go on a scoring streak right here if they want to do anything. Matthew Romero with it. Gets it in Gus Blood. Gus Blood out to Eamon Martin. Over to Fitzpatrick. Ball slowly moving around the perimeter. And Eamon Martin's going to be called for the charge. Must have shoved his player. I did not see it. But there's 51 seconds left in the third quarter. The Spartans still holding a lengthy lead, 26-10. Still plausible for the Lions. They just really need to find something. In the corner, shot taken. And the Spartans continue to put points up on the board, where the Lions still are having a very hard time getting points up on the board. Fitzpatrick takes it past the 10-second line, and the ball is picked up right out from under him. And Alford goes the other way and puts another 2 points in for the Lions. And the ball's tipped away from the Lions again. The Lions thankfully recover it. Charles Prather finds Gus Blood in the paint. It's a little bit too late, in the post. But the ball's out at the perimeter again. Matthew Romero pulls it all the way back up to the logo. Gets it past. He's got 3 seconds. Eamon's going to have to take a shot. Shot's going to be no good. And the Lions, 10-30, down by 20 right now.
Another thing with the Lions' offense is the way the guards have to play. They always have to play a foot or two behind the three-point arc. So whenever they get it, they're never in a position to shoot because whenever they're up top, they're never up against the three-point line. So they never want to shoot because they're too far back. And that's just another thing for this offense. We don't have shooters who can shoot from deep enough consistently for this offense to really work.
And Daniel Bergman's preparing to come in for Matthew Romero. Maybe he can bring something to the team that this team needs right now. They've got 8 minutes to score 20 points and hold the Spartans. The Lions have had a few big comebacks in this season. They're down by 10, I believe, to Georgetown. Nothing this big. But the Lions, they just need to take more shots. I feel like they haven't taken a lot of shots this game. It's just a lot of passing, holding the ball, waiting for something to happen. But the Spartans are just like, okay. And they sit back and just take a breath and then move when they need to. And there's been stopping us all game. Lions ball, Daniel Bergman's into the game, number 15. At the bottom of your screen. Fitzpatrick, he's going to pick up his dribble, gives it to Daniel Bergman. Back to Fitzpatrick, who, as you said, is very far outside of the perimeter. Gets it to Eamon, who, again, is outside by the perimeter. No threat to the Spartans. Daniel Bergman at the top of the key, gives it to William Fitzpatrick. William Fitzpatrick. Charles Prather is going to shove over Alford, who's not too happy with that call. But that's going to be a charge on Charles Prather, his first, team's third. Ball thrown to Willie, tipped. Fitzpatrick comes up with it. 3-on-3. Bad pass into Eamon Martin. That's another turnover for the Lions. Willie taking it the other way. Skip pass. Charles Prather comes up with it. He's going the other way. Pump fakes, puts up a point. That's going to go way off the backboard. Daniel Bergman saves it. Fitzpatrick was open. Gives it to Eamon in the corner. Eamon takes the shot. He's going to sink that one.
Eamon wide open for 3 right now, and if Eamon gets open like that, he's going to make his threes all day, but Eamon is never able to get open like that just because he's never supposed to be going out to the corner.
And he has to keep going and getting the ball from Fitz because he keeps getting trapped and nobody else is really going out, so Eamon's never really a big threat for there. He has to be other places on the court.
Daniel Bergman also saved the possession a couple times in a row. He tipped the pass that Fitzpatrick eventually turned over and then also saved the ball from going out of bounds on that play that led to Eamon's three-pointer.
There's going to be a blocking foul on the court. A little slow to get up. I think that's on Alford. Charles Prather is going to Charles Prather's at the free throw line. He's going to be shooting 2. And the Lions, they picked up a little bit. Charles Prather just cut himself a little bit, had a little blood, so he just wiped that off quickly. And it looks like he dripped a little bit on the court, so he's going to have to wipe that up. So as soon as the Lions, I believe this is an official's timeout, but as soon as they come out of this timeout from the referees, Charles Prather's going to be shooting 2 free throws. This is kind of good for the Lions. They can kind of take a breather, talk things through. Charles got to put these 2 points on the board to bring the lead deficit only to 15 if he makes his free throws.
And that 3 from Amon's just making me wonder what it would be like if the Lions could feed him the ball more. He has to spend so much time co-running the offense with whoever's running point guard just because of how much the Spartans are trapping the point guards that he never gets to kind of sit out and wait for his shot to come.
Exactly. Amon gets a lot of trouble for not scoring because we've seen him be able to score, but when he scores, it's when the Lions' offense is moving smoothly and they're able to pass the ball around him and he's set up, ready to take a shot, ready to move something, but most of the time, Amon's having to run around the entire court, trying to get the ball open, trying to find something to happen, trying to take shots, trying to set other people up for shots. And if only he was able to just be down at the other end of the court.
And Olympia right there called for over and back. Romero came very close to fouling the Olympia player, which was completely unnecessary because it was going to be over and back if you just let Pfeiffer touch it. But thankfully, Pfeiffer did touch it before Romero ran into him.
And Charles Prather is going to miss both of his free throws. Willie's going to easily pick off that pass. The Lions cannot afford that right now. Pfeiffer gives it to Willie. Willie's going to take a 3. That cannot go in. That doesn't. Off the backboard hard. Olympia's going to come up with it. And did he throw it off the legs of Amon, I believe?
Yeah, so Amon went in to try and get it, and it bounced off his legs. And what we saw right there, that's the problem with the Lions running basically the exact same inbounds play from the side every single possession. If you have a team that has more than average basketball smarts, then they quickly figure out exactly what that play is. I remember watching a game where their point guard figured out, and he was explaining the entire team how the Lions inbounds play from the side work, and then the Lions couldn't get inbounds plays.
Willie's finally going to take sink one of his shots, and that pass is going to be picked off by Olympia again. And the Lions just need to be more aware of where they're passing, and they need to just pass with more. Their passes need to be stronger. Willie's going to be out at the top of the key with it.
And also, the people on the receiving end need to go out and get the ball. It's always like as soon as the ball gets passed, as Amon Martin takes it down the court, gets it to Daniel Bergman, who's open under the hoop. He misses it, but Amon goes up and puts it back.
And exactly, I think you're right on that. I mean, again, we were kind of blaming the passers there, but it's also on the receivers. They need to come out and get open. They're not ever getting open.
Because what happens all the time is that they pass it, and then since the receiver doesn't move, the only person that's moving towards the ball is the defender, and he just moves in front of the person trying to catch it and picks it off. And that's happened a lot this game.
Amon's now really just taking point in this game, trying to find something, but Olympia kind of realizes that. And they're basically putting 3 players on him and just basically shutting him out of the game, and there's nothing he can really do. But Daniel Duggan's going to come into the game, so is Charles Prather. They're coming in for Gus Blood and Amon Martin.
Duggan's going to inbound for the Lions. This time, inbounds play works. Romero has the ball now in the middle. Passes it to Bergman, who looks, doesn't see anyone, so he gets it to Romero. Romero, nice little no-look pass to Duggan, but the ball gets trapped up between Duggan and his opponent, and it's going to be Spartans' ball.
Willie with it, gets it to the corner. Drives, almost gets picked off by Matthew, but Willie gets the ball. Swings it to the wing, deep three. That's no good. Danny Bergman almost comes up with it. The ball's gonna stay with the Spartans.
Score 35-15. Spartans up. Eamon, Charles, and Gus each have 5 points. Last game against Chrisman, each one of them had over 12 points, and they carried basically the entire scoring load for La Salette. Duggan pokes the ball away from Alfred, but Alfred comes back up to it, gets it to Willie, who misses his 3. The Lions should just, every time a shot is taken, have one person committed to going out and covering Willie, because he keeps just hanging up behind the 3-point line and not going to take a rebound. And then as soon as someone gets a rebound, they kick it to him and he shoots. Duggan takes the shot on the other end, no good. Olympia comes back down, misses their shot, and it's Lions ball again.
The Lions. Daniel Duggan with it, gets it to the wing. Just easily picked up by the Spartans. 3:19 left in this game. Ball swung to Willie. Pass into Chase Litwiller, and that's good for 2. Daniel Duggan picking up his dribble, gives it to Charles Prather at the top. Swings it to Daniel Duggan at the 3-point line. Daniel Duggan moving around, finds Matthew at the logo. Drives, he trips up, hits the floor hard, but he gets the pass off to Daniel Duggan. Daniel takes the 3. It's no good.
It's going to be a timeout called by La Salette. Or, I'm sorry, by Olympia. I thought the referee pointed to the La Salette bench, but none of our coaches, I should say, had stood up.
And the Lions are moving slow. Maybe it does have to do a little bit with it. They might be a little tired. They've had a lot of games in a row, a lot of long weeks with a lot of basketball games in them. But they are just moving a little slow out there. There could be many factors that go into that. But they're going to come back out of the timeout. Eamon, Fitzpatrick, and Gus Blood still sitting on the bench. Ball inbounded. Kitty with it.
Number 40, Blaine Halley, came into the game for Olympia. He's 6'7" and extremely big, but doesn't look particularly adept out there. He missed his layup, but then Olympia was able to follow up with a quick 3, so Olympia 40-15 right now.
Daniel Bergman at the high post. Kicks it out to Daniel Duggan. Matthew Romero now with it, trying to find something. Dribbles right. And they're sticking to that right side of the court, not reversing it. Keedy tries to draw a charge, but the refs realize that nothing happened there. Daniel Bergman at the wing, trying to find something. Ball just being passed around. Spartans defense not budging. Matthew gets it out to Bergman. Bergman holding on to it. Gives it to Matthew. Matthew pass into Blaze Arania, and Blaze is going to be pushed.
This is Spartans' 6th foul, so La Salette doesn't quite have the bonus yet.
That foul's on Halley, number 40. 6 team, as Gavin just said. Lions need to get something down. Charles Prather gets the ball. Ball tipped. His layup's no good. Good passing sequence there by the Spartans. Draw the foul from the Lions.
Duggan fouls the player on the way down because it was a 1-on-2, and the Spartans did a good job passing back and forth, so then they got Duggan off his balance and forced him to foul the player going up for the layup, who is number 2, Keaton Pfeiffer. His first free throw is no good, and the players both started charging it, even though he should be shooting 2 free throws exactly. Now the Spartans subbing on a couple players. Keaty and Wilson coming off, and number 25, Sam Goodman, as well as number 1, Carson Berkey, coming on. Ian Tackett also comes on for Olympia to replace Keaton Pfeiffer. 1 minute, 25 seconds left. Salette down 41-15.
Matthew Romero gets it past the logo. Moving around, trying to find something. Finds Daniel at the left wing, gives it back to Matthew. Quick pass over to Daniel Bergman. Daniel drives, pulls back out, picks up his dribble, gives it to Matthew Romero. Elijah Hall setting up to come into the game. Matthew drives, ball poked out from under him. Olympia going the other way. Pass into the paint.
And Bergman swats Ryan Pfeiffer's shot as he goes up for the layup.
Matthew Romero gives it to Daniel Bergman. Daniel Bergman gets it to the top to Daniel Duggan. Daniel over to Matthew Romero. Daniel Bergman kind of loses control of it, regains it. Moving the ball around. Matthew Romero. 27 seconds left in the game. Daniel Bergman on the left wing. Matthew with it. Lions still taking their time. Cannot find anything. 16 seconds. Blaze Aronia at the top of the key. Swings it to Daniel Duggan. Quick pass to Matthew Romero. Into Blaze Aronia.
Blaze's shot no good. 8 seconds left. I don't know why the clock isn't still running, because it should be the mercy rule since the Spartans are up by
I think it's
more than 20 points.
Is it 20 or 30?
I think it's 20, but maybe it is 30. I know that the clock operator put the bonus sign up after 6 fouls, so maybe he isn't quite sure what to do, but 5 seconds left. Blaze shoots the 3 as the clock winds down, no good. Rebounded by Olympia, and that's the game. Final score, Olympia Spartans 41, Salette Lions 15. Charles Prather, Eamon Martin, and Gus Blood had 5 points each. Eamon made the only 3 of the game for the Lions. But other than that, not much to report, except the Lions definitely have some stuff to work on in practice, especially that offense. Their offense has been just a thorn in their side this whole season, not being able to get it going. But please join us for our next game, which is going to be tomorrow at home against Hudsonville. JV is going to be playing at 5:30, and Varsity will be playing at 7 o'clock Central. Until then, I'm Kevin Quigley with Michael McCall signing off.